that Rick?
No, that's Gavin.
That's Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom, because the current governor
Oh,
of
no,
California.
not Mr. Newsom. That's a nutcase right there in
Andrew on
his
this
suit.
one.
You know,
Stop scrolling right now. They spent millions trying to make this guy the next president, and everyday voters are literally laughing in his face on camera. You cannot miss this collapse.
that's who we have in the general. Yes, I would. Is that who I'd want in the primary? No.
Wait, did you catch that? You have a sitting governor, a guy whose team is desperately trying to position him as the undisputed future of his party, and a room full of average, everyday voters can barely even recognize his face. When they finally do, the immediate reaction isn't respect or admiration, it's genuine disbelief and mockery. One guy literally calls him a nutcase right there in a suit, without skipping a single beat. This isn't some highly edited political hit piece or a scripted late-night monologue. This is raw, unfiltered reality from the exact demographic you need to win over if you want to sit in the Oval Office. It completely shatters the illusion of inevitability that his PR team has spent millions trying to build. If your core audience is openly laughing at you in a focus group, your national momentum is completely dead in the water. You cannot buy that kind of authentic disdain, and you certainly cannot spin your way out of it when the cameras are rolling and the voters are speaking their absolute truth.
I am sorry. I am someone that believes in character. I am someone that believes that morals matter. But because of the state of this country, if I lived in Maine, I would hold my nose and I would vote for Platinum.
Look at the absolute panic happening right here. We are actively watching a complete moral collapse broadcast live on daytime television. For years, we have been told that character is the absolute gold standard, that principles matter more than politics, and that certain lines should never be crossed. Yet, when the political pressure gets hot, all of those grand, sweeping statements get tossed straight out the window without a second thought. She flat out admits that despite everything coming to light, she would hold her nose and cast a vote for a candidate facing completely devastating allegations. It is a stunning admission that partisan loyalty trumps every single moral high ground they claim to hold. When you openly state that winning an election is more important than basic human decency or accountability, you instantly lose the right to lecture anyone else about their choices. It is a terrifying glimpse into a zero-sum political mindset where the end always justifies the means, no matter how toxic or compromised the actual candidate might be.
Said to myself, that's my kind of man. Because that is a man who not only has the values, but a man who believes in accountability. And we need a little accountability coming out of Washington right now.
I am sorry.
Are you seriously paying attention to the body language here? Look at the incredible energy and absolute conviction she brings to that podium. She is entirely throwing her weight, her reputation, and her political capital behind a man she calls her kind of man. This isn't just a polite, standard-issue political endorsement. This is an aggressive, full-throated character witness performance. She is demanding accountability from everyone else while standing shoulder to shoulder with someone whose closet is about to burst open with absolute chaos. The sheer hypocrisy is practically radiating off the screen. When you build your entire political brand on fighting for the vulnerable and holding the powerful accountable, moments like this are what completely destroy your legacy. The internet never forgets, and clips like this age like milk left out in the blazing summer sun. It is a masterclass in terrible political instincts. You have to wonder what the strategy was here, or if there was any strategy at all, besides blind, reckless loyalty to the machine.
Was vetted. People knew all these things. And a whole bunch of Democrats in Maine showed up and voted for him anyway. And a bunch of donors from around the country sent him money anyway. I agree with Alyssa's question. What changed? Why are you bailing on Graham Plattner now? You already signed off on Nazi tattoo, a self-described communist, somebody who's had rape fantasies, somebody who has been on a social media platform known as a playground for predators. And the difference between this accuser and the previous one is simply this. She's a liberal. All of this whole thing is disgusting. But to say that they hadn't vetted him or that they didn't know about all this is totally false. They knew it and they signed up for it. And I don't know why they're backing away from this scumbag today when they had already signed off on all that other crazy behavior.
You seriously need to rewind and listen to the tone of his voice. He is absolutely dismantling the entire narrative piece by piece, and he is doing it on a network that usually offers cover for this kind of behavior. The frustration is incredibly palpable. He points out the undeniable truth. Everyone in that inner circle knew exactly what was going on. They knew about the allegations, they knew about the toxic behavior, and yet they actively chose to look the other way because political power was on the line. It is a completely damning indictment of the entire machine. When donors and party elites deliberately fund a candidate they know is compromised, they are telling you exactly what they think of the voters. They think we are completely oblivious. But you can't hide this level of coordinated deception forever. Eventually, the dam breaks, and when it does, the fallout takes down everyone who decided to play along. This is what a crumbling political empire actually looks like in real time.
This could be the thing that torpedoes Gavin Newsom, right? This is not some hokey pokey. This could be something that he looks back on and says, this is what broke us. This is what broke my campaign.
Hold on, do not miss the gravity of what is being said right now. We are talking about a completely unprecedented infiltration of a sitting governor's absolute inner circle. This isn't a minor administrative scandal. This is a federal wiretap scenario playing out like a high-stakes Hollywood thriller. To have someone so close to the top actively cooperating with federal investigators completely shatters any illusion of a tight, loyal ship. When your own trusted advisors are wearing wires, the level of paranoia and chaos behind closed doors must be absolutely suffocating. It raises massive, glaring questions about what exactly the feds are looking for and just how deep this corruption actually goes. This is the exact kind of explosive revelation that doesn't just derail a single campaign, it actively ends careers and torpedoes presidential ambitions before they even get off the ground. The political landscape is fundamentally shifting beneath their feet, and the shockwaves from this wiretap are going to completely rewrite the playbook for the next election cycle.
Alexis Podesta wore a wire, hung around Gavin Newsom's wife, and their political circle, and now they're under investigation.
Yeah, and look, I'm not always a believer that where there's smoke, there's fire. But if you have a staffer of yours who is agreeing to wear a wire, there's got to be something deep there, Will. And the fact that there's already, been convictions that have come from some of this stuff, it's not just this wild goose chase. There's something there. And you know what Gavin Newsom is doing right now is he is trying to figure out if he knows or doesn't know who gets the blame. Because that's what Democrats do. They protect their leader, and somebody's going to take the heat for it. But I think that there's something here.
Look closely at the dynamics of this conversation. They are breaking down the timeline, and it completely defies belief. We are finding out that this federal probe wasn't just a sudden overnight development. It has been brewing for months, quietly gathering steam while the politicians involved were out there smiling for the cameras. Imagine the sheer terror running through the veins of every lobbyist and insider who ever picked up the phone to have a private conversation. They are all suddenly realizing that those calls weren't private at all. The level of panic rippling through the establishment is entirely off the charts right now. This is a massive, systemic unmasking of how business is truly done when they think nobody is watching. When the feds start sending out intercept notices, it means they already have the receipts. They aren't fishing for clues. They are building an airtight net. And right now, a whole lot of very powerful people are desperately wondering if they are about to get caught in it.
He's scared, right? Absolutely. He's trying to figure out what was said, what wasn't said. Was she in the room? Was she not in the room? Was I on the phone when she was? But here's the crazy thing. A year from now, I have a funny feeling. This could be the thing that torpedoes Gavin Newsom, right? This is not some hokey pokey. This could be something that he looks back on and says, this is what broke us. This is what broke my campaign. And how quick did he have that press release out? He had that press release, that statement, he put it out within hours after this came out. He's prepared, he's tactical, but how he reacts to this and if he is able to survive it, this is going to be a big impact on the 2028 presidential.
Did you catch the sheer desperation in that strategy? When a politician immediately rushes to the nearest camera to scream about being a victim of a weaponized system, you know they are entirely backed into a corner. It is the oldest, most transparent defensive play in the entire political playbook. You don't launch a frantic, sweat-drenched press release tour unless you know something completely devastating is about to drop. He is trying to get ahead of the narrative, trying to frame the upcoming revelations as a targeted attack rather than the consequences of his own team's actions. But the public isn't buying it anymore. The forced outrage, the rapid-fire defensive statements, it all reeks of a man who is watching his carefully constructed empire burn to the ground. When your immediate reaction to an investigation is to throw wild accusations instead of providing actual answers, you are practically handing your opponents the exact ammunition they need to finish you off. The panic is incredibly visible, and it is entirely unforced.
You talk about the Maine Senate race. Do you think that Graham Plattner should drop out of the race?
I believe that it's time for him to drop out of the race.
Did you catch the sudden, drastic shift in tone right there? We went from aggressive, unwavering support to an immediate demand for a resignation in the blink of an eye. This is what complete political panic looks like when it hits the absolute breaking point. The internal polling must have been completely apocalyptic for them to throw him under the bus this quickly. They are desperately trying to amputate the infected limb to save the rest of the party's chances. But you cannot simply erase months of defending this guy with one quick press conference. The damage is already deeply embedded in the public consciousness. It shows just how incredibly fragile these political alliances actually are. They will stand by you right up until the exact second you become a statistical liability. And then they will cut you loose without a single second thought. It is cold, ruthless, and entirely revealing of how the system actually operates when the cameras stop flashing and survival mode completely kicks in. Hit subscribe if you want the unfiltered truth, and let me know in the comments who you think drops out next. See you in the next one!